Hi. No one's here right now because this was not anticipated and all of that. So most people are going to watch this in replay. This is going to be rather short, but it is live and not so scripted, although nothing's scripted, but you know what I mean. Like it's planned out, but it's not going to be edited. Edited is what I meant. So just really quickly, because I've been posting pretty much daily, and I today was Mm, really surprisingly busy. Just I'm gonna go really quick through these, and then tomorrow I'm going to cover them a little bit more. Um, but basically, on almost kind of like tomorrow's agenda, um, New York Times article. There's metadata that was found out. What I found even more interesting is that the article we see now is altered from the original article. Does anyone have their article? And what was like interesting even more was that when you're Googling this, when I wrote see previous version of article, in the first one that comes up is of New York Times or something like that. So I thought that was like interesting. So more people are trying to find like, can we see the original article? Did anyone screenshot it? Did anyone, have that accessible? Because the screenshots of the messages had an interesting. First of all, they took out the screenshots as far as like the photos, and they put them as like bubbles and graphics basically, and they put a disclaimer under the messages, or at least one of them. Messages have been cut for length purposes or something like that. And I was like, I don't think they're going to win the case against you because you added that after the fact. I'm sure there's a way to prove that they didn't have that before. Maybe they did. I just don't remember that. I just remember seeing the screenshots of the text message. That's like what's going on with the New York Times article. Someone posted, I think, on TikTok, um, that the metadata shows of the pictures that they were long before the 21st, not long before, but like as early as I think December 16th, they were putting these graphics together. I think the main graphic of it that said also the metadata of it said, I think 2024 December 16 or something, and then lively. That could go either way. If you're like team lively, you're going to say, well, Justin, they're like trying to attack her, although this article did anything but that, right? Um, my interpretation of that was honestly like, okay, so lively gave like it was the conversation at New York Times was from her side. Like, because think of when you're saving files, if you've ever saved files, if you're ever saving like photos or graphics, Canva posts, thumbnails for videos or whatever, Instagram, well, you're saving it with a reference, and the reference is to that project. And the project was Blake, but it was, I don't know, maybe I'm reading too much into this. My thoughts, that's where it went. Like, oh, so they were the project was Blake Lively, but not like a piece on her, but like she was the project. She was involved in that project. Or her team, they had a conversation. But again, we don't know so much. I have to see a lot. I haven't really watched any of the news today on this. So I have to watch and see what other people have found or said or whatnot. And yeah, I was trying to go into the developer tools in Chrome. I couldn't find anything but what the pictures, were titled. But I did find that disclaimer, like messages have been cut for length, and then also the messages themselves, the screenshot taken out, because wonder if the original screenshots of the messages that we saw on their website, if they were also with the, metadata. It's not really I guess it is metadata, but the link. Why are we calling it again? We're overcomplicating things. The image link having the date that was before the complaint. I don't know. I just can't believe they had the audacity to say, "No, Justin's team actually leaked that." Sorry. That was an unfortunate, um, word pronunciation moment. The next thing is old news. I don't know. I think somehow I found this. Um, I have no idea how I got onto this. Robin Lively. I've been actually looking at IMDb today. It's interesting. The projects that are kind of interconnected with It Ends With Us. Blake Lively's I wish, well, I could screen share. I'm please be patient with me as I try to figure out all the different things. I'm techie, but not that techie for a while. So, but her project in production that she is also an executive producer. I didn't see her as a producer, but she's the main actress and she's the only actress cast at this point, and Christy Hall is the writer. So there's like I think it's also based on a book, and then the screenplay writer, and then the I don't know, it's something like that. She's in the middle. Pamela Gray is the I think last step. I don't know how this works. Sorry, but Christy Hall also did the screenplay for It Ends With Us. I don't know what that means, but I found that interesting. Right? Because then Blake alter the screenwriter's writings? Didn't she constantly have something to change in the script? I don't understand. I don't this just like blocked me. It just made me pause for a second. I don't understand how this makes sense. So I don't know if this is like pro Blake's point or against Justin's point or I I don't know, but throwing that out there because I find that interesting. But yeah, somehow I got on, and a lot of people commented on Robin Lively's original post around December 23rd, I think, saying, "Hey, you must read article. She's, most honest person, blah, blah, blah." And a lot of people wrote like, didn't age well. And sorry, I don't have that tomorrow. I'll have more of the details of these things. Um, but very random shout out to this guy, Daza, whatever. It was the first comment or second comment underneath her, caption. And his website is so cool. It's samdaza.com. We'll check it out. Just random. I don't know. I don't know who he is. It's not really related. I just wanted to throw that shout out because I was so impressed with his website because he has like a measuring tape graphic as you're scrolling through that first section of his website. So yeah. Um, this we'll talk tomorrow, but basically why I bring this up now, because it's again old news, is it's just for food for thought. Like, what would you do if everything suddenly got reversed? If something came out and it turns out that Blake Lively was correct and 100% right in the SH allegations, and something came out that Justin is completely lying. So, like, if everything got reversed not overnight even, but even throughout the what appears to be the next year, because they just released the trial date, right? March 2026, March 21 or 12. I don't know. I don't have dyslexia. Somehow I have mental dyslexia. But yeah, 2026. So it's a full year from now and a bit and a month. So we'll have plenty of time for things. They could potentially go the other way around. So it made me think because, we talk about, all these supporters of Blake and their posts saying it didn't age well. What if we don't age well? What if like these commentaries and all of this, what if your conversations with your friends don't age well, and it ends up being reversed. Um, because it's so easy to be on what you think is the right side, and then kind of, in a way, it's kind of attacking, the people that are on the other side and saying, "Oh, your comment didn't age well." It's not really the nicest thing to say, but we all think it. Um, but it's easy when you're on that side. But when you truly believe, because I mean, it's her sister, right? What was she going to? Who was she going to believe? If you truly believe and support your wife, your husband, your best friend, like Taylor Swift, your sister, etc., and then you're like, oh, evidence is coming out and it doesn't look that good. The co-stars, I don't know how we would handle that. So I just wanted to like give that food for thought. Then Morena Baccarin, don't know how you pronounce her name in Portuguese or in English. She's from Brazil, Rio de Janeiro. Didn't pronounce that right, don't worry. I tried. But in this one interview, and I'll post that below. I'll actually post it. Yeah, I said that last night, and that was like such a long, awesome live. Thank you so much for everyone who attended. Um, attended. That sounded. Sorry about that. You know what I mean. Hopefully, yeah, I need to go through it and include what I forgot to include because it got later than I expected it to go. But in this interview, she I think is after Deadpool 2 or something before Deadpool 3, Wolverine, Deadpool, and asked by this interviewer a couple of questions around that, that sound very similar and familiar to what's going on with Justin. And this came up to me because my friend sent me this TikTok, I think, this video, this short, whatever, that talks about how hasn't been seen on the Deadpool red carpet. She hasn't been seen photographed with the rest of the cast. And that's kind of strange, that person thought, that was doing that video. And so I found this random interview, and she says some things like, she was asked directly, what is up with Deadpool 3? Are you going to be in it? And she's like, yeah, what is up with Deadpool 3? That's a really good question. And and takes a gulp of water and says that I have to be very diplomatic about what I say here. I'd like to be in it. They have called me about being in it. Right now we have not agreed on terms. And then there's like an in between, someone uncomfortable regarding Ryan. I don't understand why the interviewers ask some questions they ask sometimes, but if they text each other to congratulate one another and stuff, and she's like, yeah, yeah, all the time. I congratulate him when he has children, which he has many now. That's not all the time. That's only 4 children, 4 years, like 4 texts. Anyways, and then I'm being kind of Candace Owens on that. Sorry about that. But yeah, but it's not, if that's her reference that she gave to how they text a lot, and then that she calls a lot because he gets a lot of honors and awards that they ask her to like make videos for or whatever. And she says, for the latest one at that time, she basically told him, Ryan, one more and I'm done. But she loves him and he's a great guy. And it sounds like I believe her that she feels that way. And I don't think necessarily, like, I think the agreed on terms is not per him, the issue, or at least from her point of view, because she mentions a lot about Marvel taking over, integrating, or whatever. And so it sounds more like that, like they're changing things or whatever. So I don't know. But the last part of that interview, the interviewer asks, is he there for you as an actor? I've been one of my first acting experiences in high school. This actor who thought he was all that, and he was like the theater guy and all this stuff. We were practicing a scene because it was just class, and he left me hanging. And I didn't. The thing is, like, he lost his way first, and I helped him out, kind of improvised, whatever. he left me hanging, and I just it felt very not personal, because it wasn't like we had animosity personally with each other. Maybe he just wasn't good at improv, but it felt more than he just wasn't good at improv. He felt more like, this will show, look how good I am or whatever, but this will show that she's not that good or something. I don't know. But I was also in high school, so I could have read into that. But that's kind of, was he there for you? Especially because a lot of this is improvising, a lot of Deadpool. So she says that he's present and a team player. And check out again her tone of voice, because this is a video interview. He's always trying to improve. I'm not a sensitive actor in that case. And this was like, whoop. I'm not a sensitive actor in that sense. Like, if you have an idea for me, I'd like to hear it. I'll try anything if you're going to make me better. Fantastic. So we work well together in that way. He's very hands on. Try this. What about that? Does this make sense? Changing lines, whatever. It's fun. Something like that. Um, does that sound like anyone? Does that sound like the whole thing that is being claimed about Blake? Not saying that, like, was Blake the one changing lines, or was she coming in with, like, Ryan's notes on her scene? Or was she also learning that from him, that this is what you do on set as an actor and so forth? I thought that was, like, really particularly pertinent. I don't know, pertinent, but tied with what's going on now with Justin, and Blake. On It ends with us, excuse me, and this whole thing also reminds me, because I just finished 90 Day, The Last Resort from last night. If anyone watches that, let me know, write it down. But Natalie and Josh, basically, this is what it sounds like. Well, as long as, I follow, and he, I ask him, so what do we do now? And he gets to lead the way, then that's teamwork, and that's good, because that's literally what Josh was saying. Like, we're great. We do great at teamwork, as long as, she asks me what to do and she lets me tell her what to do. Pretty much word for word, almost paraphrasing, but and that's kind of what this is. Like, I don't know. And she didn't sound like she was faking being nice and liking him. And she could be really, just not sensitive and seeing it that way, or thinking like, this is not worth me thinking too much into this. I show up, I'm paid, I do my thing, I do what I love for a living, just, whatever. So, but the looking at the pattern and dynamic of Ryan and Blake, considering what's going on now, is interesting. And if that's like every project, that's not okay. Like, if it's your project, which it sounds like is the little that I know about Deadpool, it's his project more or less, then okay. But it wasn't Blake's project in the least. She just jumped in right at the end when they're starting to film, basically. She was hired on. So, yeah. And then I'll share this tomorrow, but basically, and I'll share the link here. Um, Blake Lively did a short, probably to promote Deadpool, and it just popped into my feed or whatever. Um, Tell me Deadpool's married to a millennial girl in real life without telling me, and then clips put together with Avril Lavigne, Harry Potter Sorting Hat reference that Deadpool makes, some Frozen reference, Celine Dion, Bye 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 by NSYNC. That looks cool. I'll give that scene looks like something I want to see. And then um all these other references that I kind of know but don't know. But anyways, and she says, I've never felt more seen. So my reaction again, if the it ends with us thing wasn't going on, maybe our reactions would be different. Maybe I can't speak for people's reaction to this, but maybe my reaction would be different. However, considering all of this stuff right now, also Deadpool is a lot more okay to do this for. But like, why are you making it about you guys, your personal lives? Like, it feels like I wrote like, so this movie, do Ryan and Blake take their audience's time seriously? Because he has all these references for her in the movie, including Nice Pool, which even not as a reference for her, that's a messed up reference. That's like you're bullying a guy to the whole world on your movie. Like, I don't know. That's horrible. These aren't horrible, obviously, but it just made me think like how many other reference like was this literally his movie? He just took this franchise and that's based on a comic, right? That someone wrote. Like, and he just like didn't take that person's effort and creativity seriously, didn't take the audience seriously, or didn't like respect the audience, the creator, all these people, just to like put in references and just do a home video basically at this point. That's my take on it. So yeah. And then Ryan Reynolds and Sandra Bullock, he wrote a post for her birthday, and this happened July 2023 when the first part of It Ends With Us wrapped up because then the strikes happened. And it was also, and I got this from Popcorn Planet. Why is it popcorn? So hard to pronounce. Anyways, with my accent. But it also is edited. I wonder if at first he said, "Happy birthday," blah, 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 and then he added it to take this dig at this whole thing with It Ends With Us. But again, if SH was the thing that happened, you wouldn't say this stuff this way. I don't even have words for it. But anyway, so he says happy birthday to the inimitable and stunning Sandra Bullock. For your birthday this year, I got us both intimacy coordinators and an HR department and clothing because this scene they have is like not with clothing on. I wonder if that's like a reference, but like at first the intimacy coordinator, okay, whatever, funny. But the HR department, that's right into this. Blake didn't go to the HR department, but he got her. So is he saying like there was no HR department? I don't know. It does feel kind of stuff. It's not a coincidence. Um, but yeah, as Andy said, like that plus Nice Pool plus his mock interview with Sklenar, Brendan Sklenar, and yeah, it does not look great on this. I have one more thing, just one more bullet, but I'll let me see comments for a second. I heard through a chat that a date was set for the court. Yeah, yeah, that's what I think Popcorn Andy on Popcorn Planet read the little letter, or was it sure Steve Law? I don't know. Someone said showed the letter saying from the judge saying, yeah, it's March 21st, I want to say, of 2026, whole year. Um, and then I'm not sure Arnaldo. I don't know if I say that. That's a cool name. I don't know if what it was about. Never watch any of these movies, not my type. Is that to the Deadpool stuff? Same. Yeah. Um, yeah, sorry. I wish I would have seen like these like to have the reference of what I was talking about. But yeah, last thing I want to say is I took a left turn on the YouTube net, the YouTube universe. Um, it was a video that popped up that had Candace Owens video as the thumbnail, but one of those like, this is what this person said kind of thing. And both of these people, the person that was posting was Melanie King. I don't know if she's big. I don't really know it was the first time I ever heard of her. So I don't know if she's like also a big YouTuber. like a big YouTuber that's like really well known, and if people have on this have followed her, but she was she was reading this article because she posted. I didn't even know understand the relationship between what like the Candace Owens video was saying and what the article she really apparently wanted to read was saying. Um, yeah, 2026 is really long. Anything can happen, right? In a whole year, it's really it's been going so fast. It's been going like one thing after the other. S- I have no idea. And if Brian Friedman actually releases that website, I don't even know. I think it's going to blow the internet up one way or another. Um, or our internet, our little world. Not every person has heard about this or cares about this, but yeah. And that could change. I don't know if it can change the date, but it can change whether or not they settle, probably. I don't know. Complete opinion. Completely my opinion or speculation or whatever. Assumption, yeah, I don't know, brainstorming on that one. But yeah, so Melanie King, um, if you ever feel this icky feeling in you listening to someone, sometimes it's being triggered, but it feels different than being triggered because it doesn't feel like, ooh, I feel like attacked. I feel like I disagree with this person or whatever. I'm not talking when you agree or disagree, but if you feel that icky, like, oh, just something doesn't feel right, listen to that gut feeling. That's to these like Candace Owens and Melanie King. Like it's like this feels off. I don't know, but I do want I've watched a couple of Candace's videos, not just now, but previously. I didn't know who she was, and I still don't really know who she is, but a lot of people have she's I guess a controversial person. Um and then I saw something like politically a political commentary that was like she does come across very bullying and it's interesting. But this Melanie King YouTuber, she was talking the way that she was reading this article. She was trying too hard to make these voices and make the storyline that she really I don't understand why she wanted to just to get views, I imagine, and to get something because all her videos are really like distasteful kind of no, sorry, that was another person that I was looking. Never mind. Not distasteful, another person. But yeah, like it's kind of like along those lines. But the article reads, Ryan Reynolds remembered, I was nervous as hell. I was walking through the trailers, jet lagged, disoriented, feeling really green and kind of out of my depth, and I heard my name, Ryan, in between these trailers as I was walking, and it was you, to Hugh Jackman. Just the fact that you knew my name meant so much to me. You came over, just gave me a big hug, and you said, "Welcome aboard." The way that she was reading this, I'm saying she had to try so hard to make the sound like they were actually the love story. And Blake Lively, like he hates Blake Lively, according to Melanie, and because of this one clip of where Blake was saying a joke that they had, and it doesn't work because like this is nothing. It's like two people, like she's she's not even reading. This is what I'm saying. She's not even reading into it. She's making it up. And my speculation is so she can get views, whoever she is, because yeah, so and I bring this up because this whole I want to talk again more tomorrow, but this whole thing with Ryan Reynolds being suddenly everything is like turned to him and he's the mastermind of this. Um my inner voice says it's convenient, isn't it? And one of the things that I want to say with that is also like how disempowering to women that the conversation is turned from, Blake and Justin and like whatever to, it being about men. Like she couldn't have authority. She didn't have her mind over her own. Like if we get really into how that theory looks, and it could be somewhat valid, or, he is included in all of this. So he's absolutely part of this. But like, to the extent that Candace Owens seems to, or people that I've heard talk about it, I haven't watched her episode yet, so maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm just going off hearsay, but to at least how people are kind of like talking about this now with Ryan Reynolds is like, and I had entertained that theory too, but it does also make me think like we're really like not evolved if we really kind of go with the man has to be more powerful. The man has to control the narrative. The man is like the smart one, the mastermind, and she's just like his pawn, or maybe an accomplice, whatever. She's maybe his Robin, a Robin to his Batman. Did I say that phrase right? I don't know. So, yeah. And as I was saying, if you feel, that ickiness, some people describe it as like frequency, high vibration, low vibration, high frequency, low frequency, whatever, however you want to describe it. It's not necessarily that, you know, quirky, but you feel it. Be mindful of that because it says something. And there's a reason I wrote this. Like, there's a reason I started gravitating towards watching Man Enough, going back and watching the podcast on YouTube, or the series that he did with sitting around dinner or the table at night with men, or sometimes it was on Zoom, and talking about issues and trying to understand masculinity and toxic masculinity versus healthy masculinity, and being, I don't know, just growing. And that doesn't, it can be triggering. It hasn't triggered me, but it can be, I recognize that it can be triggering, but it's the way people are talking, and the is just, it's soothing to the soul. Whatever, the trigger part is, that wouldn't be, but like, it's not sensationalized, it's not sensationalism, it's not to provoke you emotions and to hate someone, and to, like, if someone is calling you to like hate someone, like, uh yeah, take it with a grain of salt. So yeah, that's kind of that for today, for tonight. Yeah, I mean, it would be cool to see any receipts from, Candace's side of the perception, from Blake Lively's side and Ryan Reynolds, and anyone on the other side, like proving the other side. Um, yeah, it's going to be interesting because she kind of says like these people that sometimes these sources she didn't even know for sure, because it's like someone's friend or someone that she knows friend or something that worked on the movie. Um, yeah. I don't know if there's going to be a whole year of chaos if everything kind of stays on track, and we'll have the trial date happen in 2026. Also, like with the trial, everyone, well, not everyone, but it is highly said, it is, lawyers are like constantly saying that it's because it's the Southern District of New York, it's a federal filing, and therefore a federal court case, and so it won't be televised in any form, kind of shared with the public. Um, I was at the library the other day and I was like, "Are there any law books?" Now I feel like learning law and figuring out like all of these like random, nuances to things. Like, w- because, like if it was Washington D.C., I would understand, but I don't understand this whole like Southern District of New York thing. If anyone knows, comment below or like in the chat or whatever. Um, but yeah. Yeah, I think Blake, and Ryan have dry humor. Yeah, yeah, and, it's one thing with each other, and it seems to really like, they matched perfectly because even before they met, they had this humor separately, and so yeah, but not so much with the audience, and, but Nelson said an interesting theory of, like, she like the persona that we're presented with from the media, or from her PR, from what she wants to be known as, or whatever, doesn't match this humor. So it's like we aren't ready for it, and so it doesn't land with us. Um, Food for thought on that one too. But yeah, they definitely have jive with their sense of humor together. Uh, I think you have more videos to come. I have a feeling more receipts are coming from Justin Bell. Yeah, I mean, he promised us, Ryan Friedman promised us a whole website of a lot of receipts, which included in his lawsuit, there was a number of mentions of videos. So, yeah, I think they're working their way from bad ones to worse ones. This is going to be crazy. Wait, bad ones what? And worse ones what? It's already crazy. It's already crazy. This has been the craziest thing. But yeah. Yeah, it is hard to keep up with the legality and with the things that keep coming up. I don't know. Has this happened before? I've not followed anything this closely and been on anything this much, but it feels like it's rare that you see, like, almost every day something, like, scandalous coming out, like, something not even like we're making it scandalous, but, like, "Whoa," you know? The receipts. Oh, yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, it's not looking good. It's still not looking good, and we're getting no receipts from the Bleak team. We're just getting them trying, like, for the 3rd time, trying to, make them quiet, make Justin's team quiet. And I do understand that, but I understand that when you don't have enough proof or evidence and you can't play the same game because you're either not truthful or you don't have enough proof, that you know yeah, to do that. So uh but it just doesn't look good. I don't know how anyone can spin it. I don't know how anyone can spin it to make sense that they're trying to silence the other side. Also, regardless who started it, right now it's all public. So at this point, it just doesn't make sense to silence any of them. It's just like everything that they have tried to do is, it looks really, really bad. Um, yeah, they're thrown off with everything. They didn't expect. I think it's very easy to assume, very likely that they didn't expect any of this. They got in over their heads. Um, and for people who are used to having power, it's often that case where, yeah, like just business as usual, we intimidate, or maybe they think they're right and we do this and we do that, and this person is no one, because they wouldn't have done this to, like, I don't know, is Steven Spielberg so big? They wouldn't have, like, they wouldn't have done it with hugely known and aged old, director, producer, actor, etc. Like, so yeah, I don't even think they're scrambling for receipts. I think they just don't have them. I don't know. It's so hard to think that they have them. They would have said something. Even in, like, the initial stuff that they posted, they would have their only receipts seem to be, and again, I haven't read all of her lawsuit because what, the voice note, and then there's something before that that it was just like boom, 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 thing after the other. But um most of the receipts, if not all, were just like, look what he did. Look at his receipt. Look at, his screen text with his group. Like, right? Was there anything about like what they did? Like, look, we have our receipts. This is, when Blake texted her manager or her agent or whatever, that she's feeling uncomfortable or whatever. They didn't have to provide that, but like Justin did that. His side did that, where it's like, okay, here's our stuff. Here's our communication with producers and editors and each other and all this stuff. And here's communication of them too. So I think that's interesting. But I'll see you all tomorrow, hopefully, maybe a little earlier. I'll try to do around 6 o'clock, 8 o'clock, or maybe even during the day at one point. And if you can make it, there's always the replay. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Um, Not just for watching, but thank you for participating, because this is so much more fun and so much more. I love, questions and what people's opinions or perspectives when you write it, because then in it's like, oh, I haven't thought of that, or we can all kind of go with that, and it's critical thinking in action. So thank you. Have a great night, guys. Bye.